Hey guys, what's up? Jared here, Dex and Dice LLC, and ramblings of an LGS owner. This one is not really more of a rambling, it's more of a what I've learned in the last, I don't know, 3.5 years this shop has been open. I know the audio might be a little much, but again, still tweaking stuff. But anywho, so yeah, this is pretty much going to be about what I've learned over the last 3.5 years of, as I affectionately call it, the best shithole there is. And hopefully some of this stuff will help you if you're mulling over, starting your own shop or any. Hopefully you just find something out of this helpful, I guess. If not, then sorry for wasting your time. It'll be a somewhat long video, and sorry, not sorry. It's just there's a lot of shit to cover. So with that being said, I guess let's just get into it. I also know that there are other videos on this channel that kind of go over some stuff about starting your own thing, but this is just like I said, after 3.5 years of running, things change, you have to adapt and so forth. So currently, this is what I do, this is what I've learned. So yeah, hopefully it helps. Anywho, let's begin. Let's start with. Sorry, my sock was falling down my foot there. Let's begin with the most boring and logical thing there is, your funding. I started this with 25,000. I sold family land to get it. And then maybe a year afterwards, it's about a year, my grandma died. Complications from COVID and a whole bunch of other stuff. It was just her time. That added about another 9,000. So, I didn't really have that 9,000 to start out with to make the full, 34,000 or whatever. So, just keep that in mind, but it helped. So I started it with 25K, essentially. And everyone will say that that's too low and all that. And honestly, yeah, they're right. It is too low, but I am just one of those people that just likes to say fuck it, and I fuck around and find out. There's not a lot like me, but to even consider seriously doing the entrepreneurial, whatever that word route, you need to be a fuck around and find out kind of person. You really do. Even if you have all sorts of safety nets put into place in case X, Y, and Z happens, you gotta be a fuck around and find out kind of person. So, ideally, at least around here, and I'm in the South where shit is dirt cheap, so take this with a grain of salt, I guess, if you're in, I don't know, Seattle or some shit listening to this. Ideally, 80 to 100K would have been, great. That would have been a comfy enough number to buy everything that I needed to buy right out of the gate and still have some left over to help coast through that first year and a half. So yeah, wish that would have been a thing, but again, fuck around, find out. I didn't do that. You also need to, and I know everyone says this, but I can't stress it enough, you need to be ready for some super long hours. There's no way around it. You're going to be at your shop from open to close and hours before and hours after if you're doing it right. This doesn't stay constant, mind you, so you kind of end up doing something similar to the way I like to put things into perspective with doing something that seems dumb or whatever, but you have to live like no one else wants to live for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years or whatever, so the next 30 years of your life is the way that you want to live it. Sometimes that doesn't pan out, sometimes it does, but you have to be willing to just suck it up, buttercup, and do what the hell you got to do. That is probably the most cut and dry way I can put it. No fees, count into account with that. You just got to suck it up and do it. You also, if you're not the kind of person that has never had to make like decisions as far as like maybe firing someone, hiring people, buying this, buying that, making sure stuff goes smoothly. Like if you have no managerial experience, it's going to be a complete and total culture shock for you. So you have to be ready to make all the decisions and bear all of the responsibility there is to bear with those decisions, either good or bad. Hey, that was a great decision. Things panned out. Oh my God, that sucked. Why the fuck did we do that? It's all on you. So, like, you can't just, I don't know, look for an adultier adult and blame them. It's all you. So be prepared for that. That's probably not necessarily the unsung costs of running or starting an LGS, but it's something that you need to take into account. If you aren't that kind of a person, if you want a 9 to 5 where you don't do anything outside of your work hours, where you're guaranteed, a day off a week at least, it's not for you. It's not even just running an LGS, but any kind of like personal small business that you start up. You're not going to have any time to yourself to do anything that you want to fucking do for the first year, maybe 2. Just going to throw that one out there. And yes, there are unicorn scenarios where, they have the opportunity to do that and all that, but I don't have a golden spoon in my mouth. I don't have triple D's to like go and do something else for side money or any of that shit. Look at me. I'm an average white guy that I had to work a full-time job on top of running this best shithole for the first 2.5, a little over 2.5 years it was open, on top of running the shop. You're gonna do shit you don't want to do. You're gonna be pissed off. You're gonna be stressed. You're gonna want to like, I don't know, I was going to say choke a puppy. Well, I just said choke a puppy. But, like, it'll make you want to do that, man. I'm not saying to do it, mind you. I'm just saying that it will it'll push your limits. So, be super, super prepared for that. Like I said, just wanted to get that one out of the gate. That's probably the most, like, bare basic, mind-numbing, yeah, I know. You think you know. You don't know until you do it. I'm just trying to tell you, shit is rough. Then, aside from getting the funds and all that stuff and knowing what kind of a personal time sink this is going to be, you have to kind of worry about your competition, I guess, in your area or whatnot. And, like, you don't really have to, like, worry about them. You just got to kind of keep tabs on them, know what the hell they're doing, all that good stuff, or try to at least. Kind of like in my situation, where you haven't established already there, been there for 8 or 10 years or whatever, and you just show up, like, they probably don't take too kindly to that, which, I mean, sure, fine, I get it, but, like, you're already established, you have a customer base, you have whatever the hell you have going for you. A pop-up like mine probably isn't going to do much to your bottom line the first year or 2 that we're open anyways, even if that, like, we share customer bases. I send people to default.exe shop all the fucking time just because I want people to be happy and for people to get what they want, man. Even if it's not with me, like, I mean, hats off to you, good sir. I know you have taken more than, like, I don't know, a fair share of Pokemon people just because I don't do with Pokemon singles. You do. Like, have them. They're getting taken care of. That's all I worry about. The thing about that, though, that I've noticed is, and kind of from poking around other videos I've seen online, is that there seems to be like a weird 50-50 split as far as like a new shop coming in and your established stuff going. There's either going to be, hey, let's work together, let's figure some shit out, we're here for the community or whatever. Options are great. You might bring in more new players since you're in a different town than I am. You might hit a different demographic that might bleed over to mine because I might have something that you don't, blah, blah, blah. There's like a cohesiveness there in some places. And in some other places, I've noticed that those shops just want to pull up the ladder and not want to do anything or be a certain way or whatever to help, for lack of a better term. And I get it, competition, it's but given the industry and all, it shouldn't really be like that. The more people that both shops can cultivate to grow the community in their area, the more both of you are apt to like get people, customers. You're both more apt to flourish, I guess is the word I'm looking for, but not really, if you both cohesively try to just benefit one another and aren't trying to undermine and fuck each other, basically. So yeah, that's something that you should probably keep in mind. The other thing that would be something for you to consider is what you should actually sell. Now, I know like the big three are in everyone's mind, and that's pretty much what you should do right out the gate. Is you should just focus on like Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dungeons and Dragons, and if you can, you might want to squeeze Warhammer in there just to cover all of your bases. Make sure you have those covered, and like your basic accessories like your deck sleeves, dice, stuff like that. And that should be like a solid thing to just start out with. Now, once you get a couple of months under your belt and you kind of start figuring out the community where you're at, like, well, these people, they tend to like to buy dice a lot, or they only like these colored sleeves more so than these. They don't like these binders, they like these binders, stuff like that. You'll fine tune your solid, like, I guess like your restocks or whatever. You'll figure that out. Your tried and trues, your old glories. You'll figure out what works in your area, because as odd as it sounds, even though there's only like a 15-minute difference between my shop and default.exe shop, our bases are different. Like, enough difference to where things that sell here probably wouldn't sell over there, and vice versa. So kind of know your demographic a bit before you go into it. Just because something sells really well at a shop that you currently go to, unless you're in the same exact town or whatever, doesn't mean that it'll do what it does in your neck of the woods. So keep that in mind too. Go for the standard stuff that you can, just to get in there, get established, and then you will figure out what your specific little community likes to have around, and then you just kind of go from there. That sounds like it should be, standard, like, common sense advice, but I haven't seen that little tidbit thrown into a lot of the videos I've seen. So that's why I decided to include it. If you're like, yeah, I know that, dumbass, cool, I get it, but someone out there might not have, so here, just so someone said it, I said it, you're welcome. The other aspect you'll want to do is, once you get up and going, maybe even before your doors open up for, actual like physical sales, you'll want to get your TCG up and going, because let's be honest, everyone uses TCG. You'll need to probably set up some kind of like a eBay presence as well if you want to. It's really just kind of like up to you. Minions walking in and ruining videos. Damn it, Matt.
What did I even say?
You said things. You did stuff. You're in the background. You're doing stuff. And no, I'm not going to edit this out because this shit happens. This is the kind of stuff that happens from time to time.
Hi, guys.
See? Matt. There you go. So, anywho, expect stuff like that too. Just random crap that'll just happen because it can. And they have keys and they can access. So, yeah. But what I was back, oh yeah, establishing like an online presence. You'll want to do the TCG, obviously, like hands down, that'll be your easiest thing. eBay is a pain in the ass, but it's worth it, supposedly. I don't know, man. It's way too much of a time sink and a pain in the ass for me to do right now, but that's only because I'm basically just one dude doing all this. And I'll get further down into that as the video progresses because, yeah, it really isn't just me because one of the minions was just here. But, like, as far as executive decisions and big boy decisions go and executing big boy decisions, it's me. But anywho, you'll want to do TCG. You'll want to hit level 4 as soon as possible. And depending on like your inventory and all that good stuff, what you're selling, it could take a minute, it could not take a minute. That really just depends. Once you hit like that 6,000, 7,000 sold mark, be prepared for your orders to just pick up dramatically. It's like there's some kind of weird, I don't know, I don't want to say like shadow ban, but like a leash or something is lifted off of your shop on the TCG backend to where I guess you show up more often in the cart optimizer or whatever. But be prepared for when you get that 6,000 to 7,000 mark, you'll start getting stuff in like quick. And people are more prone to buy sealed from you and stuff from that because I guess you have, 6,000, 7,000 sales under your belt. Hopefully you have at least a 98% rating or higher. And people will just trust buying from you. One of the things, I hate the phone, man. I really do. Give me a second. Sorry. Not going to edit this either because it's part of the plan. And that, my friends, was a Google scam. That's something else you'll have to deal with too. Random scams on the phone that they just want to, take your information. But anywho, where was I? Oh yeah, the 6,000, 7,000 mark and all that good stuff. Okay, so while you're accruing that and even after, you'll want to use the block button quite frequently because when you first start out, you're sifting through everyone else's already blocked buyers. It's just the way it is. You're going to be dealing with not necessarily the bottom of the barrel, but there's a good chance you'll be dealing with the bottom of the barrel. In one of my older videos, I was putting tracking on every order that was like $17 and above. Now I know... Now I don't do that because I guess the blocked people have been weeded through enough. I guess the whole just quality of person that TCG allows me to sell to or whatever is just way better than starting out. But anywho, as weird as it sounds, I still highly suggest for a new shop, if it's a $17 order to $20 or above, put tracking on that shit. I mean, it's gonna run you like $4.50, $4.90, $5 or whatever, but you would rather only make like $1 or $2 on that order than lose the entire $17 because you have to refund something because someone says it didn't show up. I'm not saying that you have to do that constantly or all the time because, like I said, I don't do that anymore, but I've been using the block feature, and since I do have so many sales, again, just the quality of buyer that my shop deals with now is pretty top notch. I don't have many problems with anything, that 20 or under mark just randomly disappearing. Thankfully, knock on wood. But when you're starting out, I do suggest it. Trust me, dude, it's like I said, it's way better to just make $1 or $2 or $3 or whatever off of that order than it is to lose the full 17, 18, 19, $20. It's just a thing. Go ahead, make fun of me for that all you want to. I get it. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, go for it. You do you, boo-boo. But it worked out for us. So, I mean, it can only work out for someone else out there. Now, as far as shipping stuff goes, everyone and their brother has a different fucking way to ship things to make sure it arrives there safely. What I have found out that works really well for us, and I'm not talking about like shipping boxes or anything, I'm talking about like shipping singles, is these things. They're shipping shields. They're amazing. You can fit comfortably without damaging any cards. You can fit, like 10 Magic cards in this thing. Digimon's about 7, One Piece is about 7, Yu-Gi-Oh's about 10, Lorcana's about 10. So like you kind of have to adjust by the size, but these are a lifesaver. Not only can you fit multiple cards in these, unlike a top loader, but they're roughly, depending on how many you buy at a time, 8 cents a piece, 7 cents a piece, something like that. They're worth it. Sorry. They're worth it. They protect things really well. And for whatever reason, there were people tucking it in there. Don't tuck. You just roll it over and put your piece of tape over there. I got a complaint once about, you shouldn't use Scotch tape on this. Dude was like taking a razor to it or anyways. A piece of Scotch tape or painter's tape will go there. And if you're a buyer and you get these with tape, get you like a pin or something and get it under the top there and just lift up with the pin. The tape will come off. I don't really know why I have to explain how to do something like that either, but like it's a thing. So anyways, these are great for about, 10 cards or less. If these hold at that 7 card mark or above, you have to crank up your shipping fee or shipping weight from 1 ounce to 2 ounces because it'll push it to like 1.1, 1.2, depending on how you actually pack everything, if you do a packing list and all that good stuff. Anyways, you'll have to pack it up to 2 ounces, which will take your shipping charge to like 97 cents if you're using stamps like I do, stamps.com. Typically, if you do the 1 ounce or under, it's 69 cents. TCG did up their shipping charge to a minimum of $1.25, so woohoo, you make a couple extra cents when you ship a fucking card. So there's that. Now when it comes to shipping more than 10 cards, and it's kind of a cool little trick, but we use these. Your standard 9 pocket page, clear plastic page. We use that. Will fit like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 4 or 5 cards can fit comfortably inside these with a penny sleeve. You just put it in there, and you can either just cut it along the edge right there like I do and put a little piece of tape over the edge with a little flag so they can just pull the little flag up whenever they go to unpack it. Or you can just simply fold it over, and ship it like that. I mean, it's super fucking easy, quick, convenient, all that good stuff. And apparently a lot of people like that. It's just an interesting, cool way to ship some stuff. I don't have to worry about having pieces of cardboard that I have to fold up or put cards into a folded piece of cardboard, then putting the cardboard into a team sleeve and then putting the team sleeve into something and then into an envelope or whatever. Again, everyone has their own way to do shit. You'll figure something out that works for you, that just works for us. And it's been pretty good. So with that being said, let's move on to negative feedback with TCG. Um, Realistically, man, don't worry too much about that. TCG understands that there are a lot of interesting people out there that are more than willing to try to, fuck you over. So 9 times out of 10, when you have someone being like, "I hate your stuff. You sent blah blah blah," you can get it removed. Don't even fucking sweat it. Um, there's also a something that sellers probably are aware of, maybe not, buyers too. Anyways, if you contact a shop being like, I really, XYZ, it would be a shame if, XYZ feedback kind of thing was left. That is against TCG terms, and that is kind of almost bound or terms for, I believe, the seller to, I mean, not the seller, but the buyer to get some kind of a ban or a temp ban just for like trying to blackmail the shop, I guess, for them to, trying to get the shop to do what they want to do with the threats of negative feedback because I don't know, maybe I don't know, a wrong card was sent and they're like, if you don't send me this right card, I will leave negative feedback. And it's like, that's cool, guy. We're going to work with you and send you the card anyways. Or, maybe when I bought this, it was, 50 cents cheaper. If you don't do this for me, I'll leave negative feedback saying that you overcharge or something. Anyways, if that's what you try to pull, it goes against TCG terms. I'm pretty sure of it, so just be careful. Seller protection is actually pretty decent for TCG, so just wanted to throw that little tidbit out there too. Don't worry too much about your negative feedback. You can always escalate the issue to TCG, and if they can see where you're coming from and understand and figure out that the person is trying to be an asshole, they'll remove the negative feedback, and it won't matter much at all. Hack. Sorry, guys. So, let's move on to, I guess, kind of starting or building a community for your shop. That's going to be your bread and butter. You're going to want to build a strong community of regulars that are going to keep coming back to your shop, spending money, making you laugh, all that good stuff. Those are going to be the people you're going to want to take care of. The people that come in once, twice, 3 times a week or whatever, those are the dudes that you're going to be like, hey, man, you're in here all the time. Let's say you're $1 or $2 short on something. Just don't fucking worry about it. I'm going to make that $1 or $2 back anyways, somewhere down the line from you. So here, or, maybe just a random, it's you, here, have 10% off or some shit, or, whatever. You'll figure it out as you go. You'll need to take care of your regulars to make sure they keep coming. And that's as simple as that. I can't stress that one enough. Your regular community is going to be what holds your shop together for the most part. There's other things like randos that come in, window shoppers, online orders, stuff like that. But your regulars are going to be the ones that are there, dropping money, helping support you and all that good stuff. And those are the ones that you want to take care of the best you can. With, when it comes to, I guess like when it comes to accepting trades and cash, this is just going to be a quick little thing. Offer no less than like a 60% for store credit, and when you're first starting out, be careful about trying to do like 50 or 60% for cash. Stick between that 35-40% mark for cash. Trust me, it'll help you. It might piss some people off and you might lose some people because they want 40 or 50%. But if you can't do that first starting out, then, you just can't. You'll eventually get to a point where you can do like we do now, where we offer, 60% store credit and typically 50% cash, typically. But if you bring me a bunch of shit ton of like bulk rares, I'm not giving you 50% cash. I'm going to be like, dude, this is bulk rares. I'm going to give you like $10 and take it or leave it. But yeah, so start off with like a 60, 35, 40 mark and just go from there. unless you are in dire need of stuff, I wouldn't really go beyond, say, 70%, because then your margins aren't that great. And if you're selling shit online, the fees and all that good stuff will eat more into those margins than you'd like. And you're still making something, but you're not making anywhere near as much as you would if you would stick between that 60 and 70 mark. And 70 is pushing it. 60 is a nice, decent, almost universal trade and credit amount. Um, but that also ties back around to taking care of your community. If one of your regulars is trying to trade stuff in or whatever, and they've got good shit and all that, and they're just wanting to like trade in for singles or whatnot, figure it out. Offer them 65, 70% or whatever just to take care of your regulars. Or if it's cash and it's really good fucking cards, go up to the 55, 60% for cash, just to acquire those cards and flip them and hopefully make your money back. But again, that ties back into growing a community and taking care of your community and taking care of your regulars. So keep that in mind too when you're still trying to do all this stuff. When it comes to, I guess, just daily operations for a small shop like mine, you're not going to be able to do it all on your own. And I know I say that I'm a one-man army and all that good stuff, which, I mean, kind of yes, but the minions do play a really big role. Like, they do. And minions, if you're watching this, I love you motherfuckers. You know that shit. I mean that in the best way possible. So you're gonna want to need to get some minions. You probably won't be able to actually afford an actual employee when you first start out. So you'll end up doing like every other shop has done. I don't care who it is. I might be outing myself here, and I hope no one fucking reports me or whatever, but every shop has done this and does this to this day. You will have people that will volunteer their time just for an employee discount, for words, product, stuff like that. I mean, people really enjoy their hobbies, and a lot of them really just kind of want to experience what it's like working for an LGS, and they want the discount. So they're more than willing to help you in certain areas where you need help. And then to move on to my next point, when you reach a point where that's necessary, you'll want to find people that complement your weaknesses. Like, you'll want to, if you're not good, like me, when Throbo was still with us, like, I don't know jack shit about Yu-Gi-Oh! Never have. No offense, Yu-Gi-Oh! People, I just don't want to learn it, all that good stuff. That was his jam. So he was my Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy. Califreaky is my Digimon guy. Was my Universes guy, but we kind of dropped Universes. Roger is my One Piece dude. Dex is pretty much my Lorcana / Yu-Gi-Oh! Guy. And I have another dude or two that help me with the magic side of stuff and all that. So, like, while magic is kind of my thing, mostly you want to find people that complement your weaknesses so you're not getting ripped off. You have someone to fall back on to ask questions about X, Y, and Z. You don't just want to, like, get the first person that walks through the door that, knows the exact same thing you do and doesn't know anything about anything else. Which brings me to another point. You're not, like, as the owner, most likely, you're not going to know everything that your shop carries. You're just not. There's no way to avoid that. It's just a thing. You're going to carry shit that you have no idea about, that you might be able to bullshit your way through a sales pitch with or whatever. But there's so much shit out there that you're not going to know everything. You're not going to understand everything. You're just going to carry it in hopes of someone being like, hey, do you have this? I sure as shit do. Just here, buy it. Don't feel bad about that. I kind of beat myself up a little bit starting out with that, but I reached a point to where it was just like, man, there's, like I said, there's too much out there. There's too much to know. There's too many, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? There's too many, like, ifs, ands, buts, and all that good shit about, like, products and games, and trying to keep up with, like, 5 different ban lists, 5 different restricted lists, new editions of this. Oh, hey, did you see that the spoilers came out for this game? Oh, well, 9 other spoilers came out for this game. Oh, hey, the new D&D version. Hey, did you know they did this? Shit like that. Like, there's just way too much for you to just to handle. Really, there is. So don't feel bad about it. It's a thing. That's why you see multiple people helping some mofo run a shop. It's just impossible for the owner himself to know everything in his shop, be able to play everything in his shop, and be able to, like, talk about everything in his shop, and still have the brain capacity to make sure that the shop still runs. The bills are paid, the distros are paid, money's coming in, people are getting paid, shit like that. Like, it's impossible. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just get to a point to where you can get at least 1 or 2 minions to pick up your slack, for lack of a better term. You'll get there. Trust me. It's not that hard. So one last thing, I had a little list. One last thing I'd like to add would be your distros. Your distros are your best friend and your worst enemies at the same time. And by that, I mean they're willing to help you out, they're willing to make the sale, all that good stuff, but don't be surprised if after something releases, it does super well and the secondary market spikes on something. Don't be fucking surprised if the next time that you go to order the next hot product, the distros themselves have raised the bottom price on your end by like $5 or $10 a box. Like, just don't be surprised about it. It's the way it is. It sucks ass, but it happens. That's just what happens. You gotta deal with it. You just gotta fucking lay back, think of England, and let it happen. So that's something that you need to be aware of when you start dealing with your distros. They're good people, they're there for you, but they're also going to bend you over the barrel as quick as they can to make the money that they want to, and there's not too terribly much that your individual rep can do. They're basically just told, hey, we're doing this now, get the fuck over it. It's it is what it is, as I like to say. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. With your distros, at least work with 2, maybe 3. You'll need to bounce off of distros. Some distros carry some things that other distros don't, so forth and so forth. So you'll need at least two. I say at least 2 distros. If you're going to deal with like 40K and stuff, that's literally just Games Workshop. There's nowhere else to go. You have that one rep and that one outlet. That's pretty much about it. So you don't have to worry too much about Games Workshop when it comes to that. I've never once had Games Workshop like raise the price on my end for a model that sells really well. They're pretty consistent and they're actually really awesome to work with. I just really fucking wish that my Warhammer scene would just be bigger and better because they're good to work with. But anyways, moving on with this. I guess that's really about the bullet points that I could think of, guys, that I've learned over these last 3.5 years or so of running, like I said, the best shithole. So yeah, I hope this helped someone. Maybe you were on the fence about starting some shit, or maybe you just didn't know anything. Small shop, guys. I don't have deep pockets or anything like that, so all of my perspectives come from a holy fuck, how am I going to pay off this $6,000 loan I have from one of my reps, or one of my distros. You will eventually. You'll pay it off. It's not that big of a deal, but in your mind, you're like, fuck, I have 13 or 14 days to pay off like $7,000. Holy shit, so you're like kind of bugging out about it. Anyways, I digress. I digress. Um, it's scary as fuck. It's a whole lot of you're not going to have any time to yourself. A whole lot of sleepless, anxiety riddled nights, which sucks because I have anxiety to begin with, so it's compounded. It's fucking terrible. But all in all, man, I mean, for better or worse, even if my little shithole fails, I love you, shithole. I'm not trying to talk bad about you. Um, it's good. You're basically your own boss, man, and that's what a lot of people want to be. And while it may not be swimming in cash, which you won't be unless you have like a fucking unicorn moment or some shit, it's nice. It really is. Don't be too scared, man. Don't have analysis paralysis. Just fucking start your LGS, start your shoe store, start your barber shop, your sandwich shop, I don't know, your fucking lawn maintenance crew shit. I just fucking start it, dude. I mean, you never get anywhere being fucking scared. You just end up putting your nose to the grind and grinding your nose down like a good little worker. And sure, you'll have the safety and security of, well, I put 45 years into this place, so I can retire and maybe have my house paid off when I'm in my 60s or whatever. Like, sure, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There isn't. I envy that. It's just not my lifestyle. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of all the pointers I have. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments, by all means, let me know in the comment field. Don't forget to, sub, like the video. Consider joining our Patreon. If you're local, it's the quickest way for you to get a 10% discount on your, new products. If you're not local, I will ship shit out to you. There's even a like $1.50 option to where if you just like my BS and enjoy the fact of, hey, there's an actual legit dude out there with an LGS, this helps, then sign up for it. So yeah, just, do what you can to support the channel, support the shop. We greatly appreciate it no matter what you do. And as always, guys, as I like to say, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. I'll talk at you next time. And if you're local, I'll see you around the shop. Have a good one.